Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, another video. I've dealt with the pirate threat. They're all base dust now. As it turns out, they've been waiting in most of my sectors and I didn't even realize that they've scattered around. And as soon as I declared war on them, they turned red and I had some troubles to catch them off guard and chase them down. But they're basically helpless now. The last version has rebalanced the pirates a bit and restored some old jobs, but I've already captured my 3 sectors, so this is no problem for me anymore. I'm currently closing the Cauldron around the split, so it's getting tighter and tighter. We have another sector here, which I'm currently preparing into another mining place. This isn't as good as a location as I'd hoped it to be, because station support is only at a minimum, but we have some pretty high yield asteroids and I have noticed that I'm fairly low on ore, so we have to expand our production there, and this is going to help a bit. I think every mining station is aiding our cause. So the next target is Jin's Escape. I've already wrecked that sector and we have a single station left. I'm going to attack now, so let's make the jump. Coming through the west gate. And here you can see another transorbital accelerator. These are the hidden gates in Mayhem, so this is actually a connection to the Argon territory over here. So this is going to be interesting, because the sector statistics aren't that good and I'm going to give it to the Teladi. We also don't have any meaningful asteroids inside here, so I don't have any use for this sector, and capturing territory has become pretty expensive for me because the price scales up exponentially and I'm already a bit overstretched in this regard. Banking is doing fine, but capturing a sector costs me like 60 or 70 million now, so I don't have much leeway there. But I've rolled in some cash since the last episode, so we should be fine there. So let's take this last factory down. Oh, our Medusas are already hammering it. Which looks pretty funny. Yeah, they are also organized in a wing, so I can give attack hotkeys. Yeah, now you're moving. And the rest of the fleet is actually jumping away now. I'm going to defend the boron sectors in Bluish Snout and Family Zioth, because as I stated, the split have a very strong presence in this area, and I'm sure as hell they will launch an invasion sooner than later. And they're also expanding inside the Omicron channel, and we have to be careful that they don't overrun our boron buffer zone here and face our primary home sector, our home system with the shipyard. So I also have an eye on the shipyard here, but I believe it should be the only one inside the Omicron channel. Yeah, so as soon as they, or as long as they don't build additional ones, we should have very few invasions in this area around Cobra Gamma. So we should be fine. And the last remaining shipyard of the split is controlled by the clan G. And I'm going to take it out and capture the sector. I believe this should be fairly valuable one too. Okay, station support of 8 isn't too great, but also not too bad. I'm just going to take it because it looks cleaner. I should also take this one and paint the whole map white, but the sector here is really crappy, so I'm giving it to the lizards. Claiming it now. And they're also thanking us. Yeah, just remember that when I need your help in the future, man. Another pirate. I'm going to send the heavy capital fleet into the next target and take one destroyer to dispatch the pirate. But this should be one of the last stragglers, and hopefully they're done. We just jumped into the family G sector, and it seems like their fleet is either fairly weak or currently busy, but it looks like these are the only ships they have, which is pretty pitiful. I actually thought you would put up some fight. This is just pathetic. Looks like we've worn them down so much that they couldn't even properly rebuild their forces or something. Or maybe they just invaded somewhere else, I don't know. Shipyards can actually invade far away into other sectors they don't have a physical connection with themselves, but I think they will prefer sectors in their proximity by default. So this could be a rare occurrence where he decided to invade in another place down here or something, I don't know. So let's hope they attack somewhere else so that we can see some action today. This is actually really pathetic. So attacking the split shipyard. We should also call the other fleets to get their firepower. Which is needed to dispatch all those stations. I'm calling my player ship to get a little bit more maneuverability. But I'm sure they will use other battle groups to defend this place as soon as we start to hit them hard. Oh, this is a really nice impression. Now where is my frigate? Where are you, baby? Yeah, since the last episode I've also established some mining bases. These are all the Gonor carriers, the Aran. And I've scattered them around in various sectors close to my shipyard. And they have a small wing of fighters, mining fighters. because as most of you know, Mayhem has a pretty punishing mining system where a secretive threat will start to defend the asteroids in the game. And if you deploy too many mining ships in one sector or one area, then they will spawn and try to destroy them. So I only used small mining fleets and spread them around a bit to minimize the risk to get invaded from these car ships. Because I've already lost too many mining ships to them. The invasions are so frequently when you have big mining fleets that it wasn't comfortable anymore, and I have been losing hundreds of them for being stupid and don't paying attention at the right times. Oh yeah, this looks quite busy now. I've expanded the fleets quite a bit, and I'm reaching a point where I will probably secure those places around my clusters and then stop growing the fleet anymore, because I don't really get much more out of having bigger fleets now. I will when I start some real war with proper invasions, maybe on the Argons or something, but for now I want to make some bank and maybe secure the Omicron channel or something, but I won't need these very big fleets anymore for quite some time, I think. And want to consolidate my economy first and make some money from mining and selling equipment, stuff like that. So I have these, this is the list for all sanctuaries I own. This is a very, or this gets to be a very helpful menu later in the game, so that you can see at a glance what each of them is doing. And I have to place some more complexes. This is the energy hub. Second energy hub. Just placing the solar plant and building another one. Palladium foundry. Building the next one. The shipyard is currently producing sentinels, Falcon sentinels. 100 of them. This will probably be the last bunch I build in a long time. Because maintenance is getting really high. And would hurt my ability to make some money. I want a couple 100 million so I can claim some more sectors. And these are the 5 production centers that I've established. So these are the places which produce weapons and shields. I'm producing 5 different kinds of weapons. 2 fighter weapons, and 3 types of capital weapons, and also various shields. Oh, I think this is a battle group. It's also a pretty pathetic one, but they have 2 missile frigates. Which we should probably take care of. And they're also launching their missiles at me, so let's do a quick jump away. Or get wrecked. Damn, I hope I can make it. These are the times that would require an emergency jump drive. But we are fine. I'm telling them to attack all enemies. If you just invade a sector, the ships will focus more on the enemy stations, which makes them very vulnerable against enemy incoming fire, because when the enemy attacks you out of sector, the ships won't fire back on their own, so they need a special order to attack ships and won't even defend themselves. This can be very nasty, but you can prevent this by just giving an attack all enemies order to all fleet commanders. If you don't have supreme superiority or want to conserve your troops or something, and then they will retarget and focus on the enemy ships. So you can see they are now pulling back from the stations and try to target the nearest enemies. And when the enemy battle group has been defeated, you can just give another invasion order and continue the siege, the sector siege. While they're fighting, I will join the new pirate sector I conquered, Segaris. It's going to be another soy hub. I realized I need a lot more soy because capital weapons require it for construction, and actually quite a lot of it. I'm going to plaster this whole sector with soy complexes, 13 factories. And one thing which would be really cool for the end game or advanced game would be the ability to order multiple stations for building and just maybe stockpile them so that you don't have to return to those sectors, because these complexes with multiple stations connected require you to be in the system when you place them. And with 13 stations, this means I have to visit this place 13 times after each of them is completed. And I would prefer it if I would be able to just order 13 of those stations and they would build them one after another, and then I could place them all at once. So this wouldn't be a cheat, it would actually hurt my economy or delay their production capability until they come online, but it would be much more convenient to place them. So if you could include this too, Barb, maybe consider it. Now take them down, they aren't that strong. So the sanctuaries. So these are the 5 places which are producing equipment. The shipyard takes lasers and shields as it needs them for construction. So I've set some import levels, and he tries to maintain a certain level for each of those guns and shields. And when he doesn't need any more of them, those complexes will hit a certain threshold. For example, well, they might be a bit high, but for example, 5,000 energy bolt chain guns, and as soon as the production exceeds this amount, we'll send a trader away and sell them off to some NPC factory or dock, and makes me money this way. So this is a very, very effective way to make some passive income, some really high passive income. But obviously it doesn't work when you're constantly building ships and using all this stuff. I found the main commodity that is the main commodities that are limiting my weapon and shield production are the aforementioned soy. So this production here is stalled. The photon pulse cannons aren't built right now because I'm lacking something, and this is probably soy. As you can see here, I have 156 units of the 10,000 I want to have in this sanctuary at all times. So soy is the limiting factor for my laser production right now. And for the shields, it's probably telladianium, but I've expanded my telladianium production since last time, and as this happens, it's now also draining much more ore, because shields also require ore, and this is missing in my ship production now. So this is not a serious problem. I'm also slowly buying more stuff from the NPCs, but in the future I need to focus on my ore production. So it's a constant race against the needs of your empire, you could say. To always expand the factories that you're currently needing the most. So let's see if we can get some more combat shots now. Yeah, and I'm also planning to export my current save game and try the new Star Wars conversion. So I don't know how well this is going to happen, but in theory I think it should be possible. So when the when the balancing is a bit more fleshed out, or maybe even before that, I will go and start or continue this game in the Star Wars mod and see what this is all about. So in theory, I think the factions should start to build the new ships as soon as I load this new mod. And it will also enable me to experience the new discovery and gathering of new ships and researching them, and going to start some Star Wars ships fleets. And I don't know if this works out as I hope it's going to be, but it should. Keep your eyes open, guys. Have fun and fly safe.